Welcome to Attican Plays, Workers and Resources, Soviet Republic. All right, hi, this is Attican, and welcome to part 4 of our playthrough, at least our first playthrough, of Workers and Resources, Soviet Republic. And you can see I've run it forward now a little bit, let it play a little bit, to April 1st, 1963. I want to gather up some money because we're going to, as I promised, we are going to put in power somewhere, somehow we are going to build a power plant. And but I wanted to show you a couple of things here. First of all, let's take a look at last month we made 243,000 rubles in trade surplus, and we are still importing a ton of oil. Now, why is that? Didn't we start bringing oil in? And you might ask, is that working efficiently? Yes, it is. We are hauling oil out of here. As you can see, we're hauling it as fast as we can produce it. So all the oil that's being produced is being delivered as quickly as it can be, really, down here to our refinery. But why do we import so much? Well, here's why. Look at this, 466 workers. We are now really, truly using this thing the way it should be used. We, in fact, look at our import. We cannot. We actually at this point have too many workers, right, for us in our refinery. It's actually a waste because it cannot import. See, we should be right here. We should be very close to maximum productivity. We should be pumping this stuff out per day, 125 tons of fuel, 75 tons of bitumen. We're not pumping it out that fast. Now, why? Because we cannot import it that fast. We can't. We can't buy it that fast. So we need more oil to be delivered here if we're going to keep this kind of staffing. And I've worked really hard to get that staffing, so I intend to keep that staffing. And I want to show you what I did to really bump it up. I built another community out here, and I wanted to highlight this one because I'm actually going to make a different video, a quick guide, and I'm going to use this as one of the examples. This is an example of how you get your happiness and your productivity high. Look at our happiness. It's pushing. Our average productivity is 92%, so we're not wasting much time for people as they get delays or whatever. And our happiness is up here. We probably brought in some immigrants. Did we? Let's see. Last month. Yeah, I actually went out and brought in some immigrants to boost up the numbers a bit. And it takes them a while to get their happiness up because they got to go out and visit all the stores and exercise and do all the things that they like to do. And so that overall happiness is going to grow. But here's this new section that I just set up, and it's very easy to see here. We have a central area with pub and grocery and store and kindergarten and school. And then surrounding it will be some flats to support that. And I went out and did the calculations. What you really need, if you're not going to have a hospital if you're not going to have a hospital or a firehouse in a block, then you need about 150 workers, and then you need about 200 if you are going to have both of them. So in our case, we're still leveraging off of these two right here, this hospital, this firehouse, and I'm going to like I said, make a video on city planning and happiness. But I wanted to show you just how much you can really pump in. I've got all these flats set to go to this bus stop, and that bus stop is set to go to a new bus stop I put up here, which also, by the way, has its destination set as the refinery. So workers who come in there just walk down the hill to the refinery. And I also put in this road up here on the up on the mountain pass, and a lot of the buses are using it. It's actually helped all of our transportation. It's obviously this one, but we've got a bus route from down here that's also using it and staying out of the main city. So it's getting a good traffic. It's really been a good investment. But the big thing I wanted to show you was all this, building all this and knowing your counts of how many you need in order to have a nice functioning school, so a school that actually can support what you've got going. And a kindergarten, actually, we just must have dropped the staff there. Somebody went home. But a kindergarten for all these people to send their kids to, and then these the store and the grocery and the bar that you need, and then jobs for everybody, and some sports activities. And if you have that, you've got happy people. So you don't have to worry about churches, because over time they'll quit worrying about going to church and think more about going to, well, maybe the pub, I don't know, but more about going and playing sports. But whatever it is, right now this formula works just great for getting people happy. See how these people are not quite there yet? You can also see how we've got some oh no, that means they're off working. That's right. Okay, so we're looking good there. We're looking great up here because we almost maxed out our workers, and I don't see any university grads. That's good. The one thing I have been doing, if I see university grads pop up, I figure out where they're coming from and move them to a place where they can help out with teaching or hospital or something like that, rather than having them work in the refinery. So I just wanted to show you that before we start worrying about the power, is that, adding that little module there, it's really, I think of it almost like its own little city, but it's just one little neighborhood, one pretty big neighborhood really. But because it's got everything accessible and easily accessible, it's really doing a great job of bringing people up here to this. And then what you want to do, of course, is keep an eye on this. I'm not sure where those passengers think they're going, but that's something to be worked out. This particular one could really be set to have no passengers and no students, because there's no place for them to go, and just have the workers lining up there. So what will happen here is this will thin out over time. Well, a bunch of people are already headed there, but they'll quit coming. Workers will come. There goes a bus just taking a bunch of workers. More workers coming, more workers leaving. So this will thin out, and we won't have space taken up with people who aren't trying to go to work, which is the whole purpose of this one. So that's one type of module, and I'll stop right there. I'm starting to do my other video. I can hear myself doing it. So we're looking pretty good here. We're making about, how did we do last month? 243,000 rubles net profit, in spite of the fact we're taking in a lot of oil. So at this point, if we think about this as a pretty well-developed support, look how big this is to support that refinery. That's what one major industry takes. It takes a lot of people, a lot of support in order to really work well, and really to pay off on the investments you've made. Now we know we're hauling all the oil out of here we can get. Might be able to go back here and squeeze one or two more rigs in some of the places that aren't quite perfect and get a little bit more oil, but that would not be huge bang for our buck. Now what we could also do is look into going to find another big area of oil deposits. That would be, that would be great to be able to ship some more oil over there, because we saw that as soon as we started doing that, our trade surplus went up. So I know that there is one, and they're just, please give us a mini-map, please. I'm not a big mini-map person. This particular game really, really needs one. I know that here it is, Kalzina. Down below Kalzina, right here at this lake, I know there's a lot of oil. How do I know? Because I've done some test runs and built systems down here that were pretty awesome, that worked really well. So look at this. Look at this. There's a couple that can be out in the water. Great one there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I could see building, at least 8, and depending upon how strict you want it to be in terms of, is it only built on green ones or whatever, you could do another 10 or 12 over here, probably double our oil capability. But of course, then now if we did that, we would have to ship that, probably truck it. Let's see, and it's a long way off. Now this up here, this is where I was doing an experiment with the power. Remember I was talking about the brownouts, so that's the other thing I want to tell you about. We was getting a lot of brownouts. Every time nightfall would come, lots of brownouts. So I got to thinking about, well, what's going on here? Is it because I'm running longer distances with medium strength lines? Is it lack of power, lack of supply? It is not a lack of supply. I actually doubled the supply. So I turned it on so that we are importing from Molna 100%. Notice nothing's coming. And we're also importing from way up here in Zahalis. So in Zahalis, we are importing, and you'll see it's actually supplying us with 5 megawatts of power. So our power is actually all coming from way up there right now. But we've got the backup, so we've got the potential for 20 megawatts of power. Plenty of power. So what's causing brownouts? Well, what it is this is the part I'd left out. I hadn't realized yet. Each of these substations only has a capacity for 2 megawatts, or a little over 2, I guess maybe 2.5, whatever that is. And that being said, it is 2, I think. So what happens is that 1.147 is fine right now during the day, but at night we're going to start drawing more electricity. All the lights are going to come on. And what happens is that these guys get overloaded. And so I put in another one here, and it supports some of these over in here, and that has helped tremendously. And I put a second one down here. I don't know that it was really the problem, so I've got 2 down here to help out with this lower bunch. But I think the big thing is that this guy here, now that we're putting so many people in here, some of them have gone home while we're talking. Oh, and I saw some university grads. Got to fix that. So what we really need to do is add yet another, at least one more substation to this, to our refinery. So let's just do that right now while we're at it. Let's add another substation, at least one more, and set it up so that the can definitely service the refinery. And let's see, no reason to run a switch off that. We can just grab an open line like this guy right here, curve it around a little bit, run it in like so. There we go. So there's another substation, and that'll give us at least 2 more watts. Now that may not be enough, but at least we're better off. We've got some of this can offload here, some of this can offload to all these. So between these 3, we've got more capacity up here, and we should see a lot less brownouts going forward. And the brownouts kill you. And what I believe is happening, because I've kind of watched them, is say you got this kindergarten down here with 68 people in it. Hooray, that's great. Well, what happens, you get a brownout. Once the power goes out, people start to leave. And when they start to leave, then you're losing not only the baby's leaving, but the mom or dad, the worker, is coming to get them, and they're leaving work. So now I'm losing workers and I'm losing productivity. So, even having a brownout on something what would seem as innocuous as a kindergarten will really hurt you in the long run. So we want to get rid of the brownouts. So having the extra substations gives us the capacity to provide more watts of power and more megawatts of power. And when the lights come on, we're going to draw more megawatts of power, so we need that capacity. Probably at the end of the day, we'll probably need to help this guy out right here too, because he's just one poor little substation. He probably going to need some help right in here. We might get a few brownouts in here. I don't know, but Anyway, right, I'm glad to have found that out. That's going to be another quick guide on electricity once I feel like I've got a reasonably good handle on it. I don't have to be perfect, but I do want to have a good handle before I start telling people how to do this stuff. All right, so power. I'm going to run this. I'm going to run this and get $2 million. This is a power, setting up coal, and we're going to do it right. We're not just going to start importing coal. We're going to do the whole cycle of coal and coal ore and coal cleanup and moving it over to a power plant and putting it out on our power grid. All right, I said I'd shut up, but see now very few, there is a brownout situation here. I saw a little flickering here, but right in here, we got a little brownout, but that was it. So this is much better. This is just adding those substations has helped a ton. And as I kind of predicted, we probably need another substation here to help this this load right in here. When it's daylight, I'll work on that. Well, I'll put in one more if I can. It's kind of tight in here. There's our 2 million mark, and that's just an arbitrary number I picked. I don't know how much it's going to cost exactly to make our coal, and haven't decided exactly where I want to do it yet. We're going to figure that out in a moment. So let's see, how did we do last month? 341,000. Wow. And why so much? Because of this new one here that's bringing more and more people in. That the little bit of oil, well, it's a large amount of oil that we're bringing in to augment our imports is definitely helping, because look at this, we've already used it all up. We've got a hungry beast right here, a hungry money-making machine, and we need to give it more oil. We really, really do need to give it more oil. Oh, am I going to go back on my word and not do what I said I was going to do? I have an idea. Let's go find that lake again. Let's see, what was it? Calzina. Let's go to Calzina. So we'll go to our list of cities and areas. Calzina. Let's go there. Okay, here we are at Calzina. And I say, let's go there because I know from prior experience that if I look for coal, well, looky here. There's pretty good coal in them our hills. Right here. There's more coal, oh, even better over here. Excellent coal right there. More, oh, excellent, wow, excellent. Geez, which is better? That's tough. That one's really good. This one's really good. I think we'll go here, maybe. There's even coal down here in the flatter spots that are, oh, my word. All right, this is coal heaven right here. So we can set up our coal and our storage and our coal processing and our power plant here, which just happens to be, look at this, right above our beautiful oil lake. So we can set up our power and run our power across to the line, and across to our existing system. That will allow us to cut out a lot of that importing, probably all of it, and save us a bunch of money, make us a little more self-sufficient, and set us up to easily be able to go down here and power up a nice big oil business, and we can just go out there and drill, baby, drill back here. No, there's no coal down there. All right, we can go down here and start taking advantage of this beautiful oil and ship it over to our refinery, because we know now we've got our refinery set up to have beautiful staffing. It now needs beautiful oil supply, and we've got some. We'll do some more, and that's going to be quite the little railroad, or however we choose to do it. I mean, we you could, if you really wanted to do it, you could actually pipe the oil all the way over there, but you'd have to set up power all the way along, and it would cost the piping and the pumps would just cost a fortune. So I've gotten lost again over this way toward Cosina. There we go. There's our beautiful lake. So I'm going to call this area. Oh, I looked it up once. Russian for oil lake. Well, Kilbrusk. Kilbruce. Sounds like a great name for the area. So I named it so we can find it later. So if we go somewhere else, I'll be able to come back here. And I do want to call this area. We're going to call this area over here. I'm going to give it a name. I'm going to call it. We can rename it and call it Mask. And that means something to me. Won't mean anything to you, but that's okay. So this is going to be Mansk. And Mansk is going to be our coal and power area. And that's what we're going to work on now. Now, when setting up coal, first of all, obviously, you want the best deposit you can get, period, of course, because you want it to be able to produce a lot. But you also have to be able to get workers up there, and you have to be able to get the coal down. Now, getting the coal down is actually the easy part because of the beautiful conveyor system that we can use. But getting the workers up there, that can be a job. So, whoa. Turn off auto build. And obviously we're way too far from our construction office. So we're going to put a construction office down here. Oh, let's put it right in that area, right in there. Close enough, but out of the way. Hopefully out of the way. And you watch, it'll probably be right where we end up wanting to build. And we want a place where we don't have to do terraforming. And let's go out and do our usual. Seems to be working. All right, now we can start thinking about doing some terraforming. Get our coal mine. And how are we going to come off that mountain? Now, we don't want to be coming straight down there. We want to be coming probably over here gently and curving back. And then that doesn't look bad coming down through there. So actually, I think this is going to be, not only is this a great deposit, I don't think it's going to be horrific to get down from here. And if we can get down, that means we can figure out a way to send workers back up, either through bus or train or even conceivably, you could even put housing close. But look at this. We don't even have to terraform. Man, this was just made for us. All right. Let's see if we can get off this hill. We're going to do a gravel road or a mud road. That doesn't sound so good. A mud road. Okay, no problema getting off that mountain. Excellent. That's really good. I think I just managed to lay a bunch of track I didn't mean, or build mud roads I didn't mean to build. Okay. We could even, I mean, we could build a city block up here if we really wanted to, and let everybody walk to work. Anytime you see your terrain is yellow or green with the cities, that's a place where you could absolutely build a little city. There's no, you don't get a lot of this stuff where you're on the unbuildable. It's not like up here where you just can't possibly build. It's all kind of, we would have to do some terraforming, which of course is free, and we could have our coal miners just walk up there. But I think what I'd prefer to do is bus or train them up there, because we've got a nice big area here to build our coal power plant, and we might as well have one town that supports everything, and we can use transportation to get them up there. So we'll have the town of Mansk down here. Okay, now I have to confess that I am not great. I don't have a handle yet on how I would like to organize the coal ore processing, the power plant, and the storage that goes along with it, along with the conveyors, and still get the roads built. It's not that easy. So I'm gonna have to play with this a bunch to get it straight. And what I think I'd rather do, rather than trying to talk this whole time, and also rather than boring you to death watching me struggle, I'm going to go away and lay out the plan and come back and talk you through it. And also, if there's any kind of interesting things I had to do, I'll talk you through those as well. So I'll see you in a bit. Okay, that's not too bad. Spreading them out a little bit is definitely useful. I've always tried, the few times I've tried to build the power plant set up like this, I've tried to put them way too close together. It's better to spread them a little bit so that you have room for these conveyors and still be able to run roads underneath them. Very important that you can do that. You've got to have the road connections for fire purposes, particularly on these two buildings, because they're pretty expensive, and you just need a good road network anyway. So what I think we're going to end up with here is we're going to, of course, set up conveyors and run, and I'll walk you through that, because I don't think I've shown you that yet, and some of you have probably never seen it. A lot of you are probably better at it than I am, but we're going to run conveyors down the hill, down the mountain, into this storage, which will be for coal ore. This coal ore will feed into the coal ore processing plant, which will create coal. It'll clean up the ore and make it into coal, usable coal, and that coal will be sent to the power plant and to storage. And you know what? We could just send it to the storage and have storage send it to the power plant. Nah, this is fine. This is fine. And is it now? Is it? Couldn't we do better? I think we could have a tighter build in our city in a more obvious place if we actually went from here to here to here. So let's, sorry, here to here to here. That would put our coal storage here. So if we have excess coal we want to ship, we could set up shipping out here. That would be nice. Our city block will go in here. You notice all that waste of time terraforming and making. That's pretty good argument. That's a good. I'm going to call that a monument to my own terrible terraforming skills. I think what we're going to. Let me see. Where would that road be? If this comes out. Nah, gonna leave it alone. I like it. It works. It works. We can start our city right in here, and it'll be easy to walk to here and here. We'll set up a bus route to go up to the coal mine. We are good. All right, so let's set up our conveyor system down the hill. So the coal comes out right there, out of the coal mine. So we need to have an engine or a transfer engine or whatever you want to call it up here that can take it in. So when you set these up, you simply point the end toward where it's coming out in the way that you've got the outs, the three down at the bottom. It's always one in, three out. Let me zoom in a little bit. So one in, three out. We don't have to worry about the road, but we do have to power it, but that's not an issue. So we can use our free, there we go. Dig that right into the rock. See if that'll work. Beautiful. Coal comes up, goes to that engine. Now it's going to go down the hill. Question is, how far down the hill can it go? It wants to have a building. It won't tell us if it's too long. Although the hill's causing obstruction. I think we might be able to get away with a really super simple one here and just have one about halfway down like so. Out of there. Beautiful. And then let's see if this one will come on down. Oh, we'll go to that one. Beautiful, beautiful. Oh, that's about as simple a one as you could get right there. Into a transfer, into a second transfer, into the storage. And then from the storage, we're going to have a transfer to the, and the only reason we got the transfer is just to bend it. Didn't want to put this up there. Well, you saw what happened when I tried to put it up there. It wasn't great. Okay. Don't really need to build any of that yet. And we'll be able to get any excess coal out of this side. So we're going to put our little town, Mansk, right up here. Now, we're probably going to give Mansk a hospital and a fire department. We don't need to burn down our coal plant, and we don't need sick people. They certainly can't go to Molna for health care. So if we need to put in a hospital, we're going to need 200 support people. So 200 support people, and I think actually the first people, our coal miners, are going to live right in here with a bus route that close by, a bus close by. So let's lay out. Actually, I take that back. The first couple of houses here are going to be dedicated to this, or probably one house split between it or something like that. We'll see. All right, so give it a border. And let's put one house for those two. So that's, we need max 20, max 15, 35 times 3, 95, 105. We need about 100 workers. tell you what we could do. If we just put this in here, and not specify, that's going to get us started on our support. But I'm still going to plan for 200 support people. So how big is this one? 120. That'd be 240. That's a little overkill. We got a little extra. Let's put in 3 of these, which would be 60. No. Two. Three, and let's make sure I didn't goof there. I didn't. So there's our power plant, our ore processing, and our support. So let's put in our support building. So grocery, and store, and pub, says some other infrastructure is in the way, and I can't imagine what that other infrastructure is. Okay, that looks like I've created a mess here. Looks like I've created a hill, but maybe not. All right. We need a school and a kindergarten. right, this is very slow and boring. Let me fast forward to till the town itself is kind of laid out, and you can kind of see the overall plan. Nice. Now, I have no clue what it would cost to build all that. It would be really nice if I could just say, okay, build all that crap. Parts of it we can, of course, the conveyors, the what have you. Oh, and we need power. Obviously, we can generate our own power. And they're not going to tell us in advance how far out the power might go. Oh wait, this is the power plant. Still not going to tell us. All right, let's plan out our substations. Far up as we can go for that one. And then that one, and we're going to need one over here for the city because the power, least one for the city. Based on our brownout idea, might need more than one. Okay. The nice thing about the having the coal power plant is it actually serves as your transformer as well, because it has both high voltage and medium voltage outlets coming out of it. We'll run over to that one. Then we will take out that one and put in a medium switch. Like so. Connect these back up. And run up here to this one. There we go. And then we should be able to put a switch in. Let's just put one. Let's put one right here. We'll put a switch right here. Going that way. And we'll run it over to our substation over here. All right, we've got power, we've got our conveyors, we've got our city, we've got enough housing to get all our support staffed. We've got enough other housing to head up to the coal mine. Now we don't have, we're way too far away to bring vehicles from over in Molna, so we're going to need a fuel station, and we're going to need a road depot. Road vehicles depot, that's it. And do I want it there in the way? That could conceivably be in the way. This building is really just kind of, as long as you can get to it, it doesn't matter where it is. Okay, right there. And the gas station can be, if we could put it in here along the route, that would be fine. Let's see. Let's put it here. That's not really in the way. Well, I would like to have a road for this, just in case of fire, and a road for. Does this not have a road? Oh, it already has a road connection. Good. Let's see. Speaking of fire, we didn't put in a fire station or a hospital. So we're going to put in a fire station and then staff it down a little bit. And put in the hospital and do the same thing, staff it down. We really, they don't give you the option of like a clinic or something. We don't really need a full-blown hospital here, but we can have one. All right, that looks like maintenance now. Lord knows how much that costs. Let's build what we can build here. And we could actually, power line wise, we can actually hook it up over here to our grid, because this is on our grid. So let's do a knock out that one, put in a high voltage switch, reconnect them, and run the wire over the hill and out like so. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And we need to go ahead and build that, because that's part of our main power line too. There we go. I'm going to speed this up again, because now we're just going to build the conveyors and go down the mountain using our $100,000 rule to go right down the mountain and build everything, and that's a little boring too. So
okay, we'll hold off
once
on
it
these
gets
two
done, I will rejoin the action, and we'll start building the roads kind of somewhat carefully. I do want a paved road. We don't want the buses taking all day. And we want lighting and sidewalks here so people can walk to the power plant, which they're already doing. So here you can see the value of just having those mud roads to lay out the framework and then just painting over them with what you want. That's much easier than grabbing each individual section and queuing it up to be built. So I'm going to fast forward again until this is done. And again, this is I'm getting bored watching it. I can't imagine how you feel. Now, as darkness settles in on the beautiful city of Mansk, we have a fully functioning city here with hospital and fire support as well to man this coal plant, coal ore processing, and coal mine, and giving it all the support it needs, like food and clothing and electronics and a pub and actually I forgot at this point. I'll go back in and add some sports fields around it. I left that out originally, but we don't need to show it here. So once that gets in, now we've got a fully functioning city where these citizens will be happy and productive. And in fact, we will produce tons of power. We'll continue importing from one site, one import-export area, and we will export to the other one. And what will really happen is we'll rarely import any, and keep that one import open so that we can have that as a backup in case we need it for more power, maybe at night or something. But really, we've got enough power coming out of this power plant to handle everything we need to do for the time being until we grow much bigger. So there's a nice little city there called Mansk, which is going to help us move forward. And in our next episode, we are absolutely going to go out and get some more oil. We've got to make that refinery. It's still our big boy. It's still the cornerstone of our society. Really, it's what's holding our economy together, and we're going to optimize it. We've optimized it for people in terms of getting a large number of people working there, but it's still suboptimal overall because now our supply is not meeting our demand. But we're going to fix that and in the next episode, and I hope you'll come back and join me. I apologize. I think this one was a little boring. Maybe I'm just in a mood. I don't know, but it just seems boring to me. But I will tell you, interestingly enough, I was fascinated while I was doing it. When I was building the city, I really enjoyed it. So I don't know. Maybe my commentating skills need some work. But anyway, hope you'll join us for the next one. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it'll help you become a better player, and I hope you'll join us for our next Workers and Resources Soviet Republic video. Thank you.